Peekaboo! Okay, so ChatGPT and I got together with the intent of fleshing out a project I had long wanted to put together, a Mushroom Kingdom campaign. But what is a Mushroom Kingdom campaign? It's where we assume the Mario Bros are deceased, out of commission, or never existed in the first place, and we insert your players as their replacement. On that note, if you're not looking to Game Master, get out! I got plenty of character sheets for you to look at, and your GM might want to run this. Now, I undertook this project with new players in mind, specifically other content creators I've been trying to persuade into this, so I made this easy peasy and should be done in 1 or 2 sessions. To hook your players, we have to ask the question, if they start in Toad Town, or if they journeyed from a distant land to aid Princess Peach with the threat of Bowser. If they have the famed Complication, Peach herself may have called them forth. If they do live in Toad Town, but are just starting their hero gigs, perhaps they hear tell of warrior toads fighting invading Goombas and take this as their chance to rise up as heroes. And of course, there's the good old isekai method of sending your New Yorker into the interdimensional portal. However they get to Toad Town, they should consider it the central hub of your campaign. Everything they need is there, from lodging to light shopping for food, clothing, maybe a helpful item or two. After your players have settled into their environment, we are going to send their butts to Goomba Grove, whether Peach directs them miles away or they decide to walk a mile of their own accord. This should be their first stop where they encounter Goombas! Consider the bystander setup provided by the core rulebook when making your Goombas. I propose 0 on all stats, 4 ranks of shrinking, and high athletics to get a good head bonk out of these little critters. I propose 2 Goombas per player, per encounter, until their wandering through the grove eventually leads them to King Goomba. I'll provide a more detailed character sheet in the description below, so as not to dwell on him too much, but needless to say, he's a big dummy with at least 4 ranks of growth. In fact, your players might not even need an investigation check to get through the grove. Just go towards the big brown hill looking thing. Defeating King Goomba sends him and all his little friends crying to wherever they go between Mario games. I don't see much potential for hero points here, but I'd be content to give a hero point if the players decide to beat King Goomba by taking the classic solution of jumping on his head instead. From Goomba Grove, your players will either go back to Toad Town to rest, or sleep in the woods and then proceed to follow their trail. Or perhaps Peach will send them to Bob-omb Factory next. Yeah, Bob-omb Factory, a large facility with an electric fence around it, and watchtowers where Koopas have a sharp eye on the ground beneath. Will the players attempt to sneak past all this, or come breaking down the fence with a steamroller? If they sneak in, tell them they entered a storage room with parts of catapults, tools, blueprints, and if anyone has the inventor advantage, now's the time! Eventually, the players do have to explore the rest of the facility. The production floor is going to be a noisy and chaotic assembly station for Bob-ombs. If the players triggered an alarm already, there shouldn't be anybody working because they're either looking for players or have been beaten up by players outside already. Emphasize the central platform, though, where King Bob-omb watches from behind monitors and control panels. All that good mess. Yeah, the AI image generator did not do me any favors today, but you get the point. Now, why a central platform? I was in a classic mood and wanted to give the players the old fight. Again, I'll put the character sheet in the description, but focusing on his tactics, his first impulse is to attempt to grab players and throw them down into the factory below. If King Bob-omb is unable to do that for any reason, his next move is to summon Bob-ombs. If King Bob-omb feels like he's on the losing side, he'll take inspiration from Mario and Luigi Paper Jam and start the countdown to self-destruct. Players can begin this countdown themselves by knocking off his crown and lighting his fuse, but presuming King Bob-omb himself initiates, this is 10 damage, area 3, enough to take down most of the factory with him. This gives players the choice between desperate escape or shutting down King Bob-omb before he explodes. However that chapter concludes, your next step is to send your hopefully shaken players to Piranha Plant Valley, where we're going to learn more about poison. Make them roll intelligence to identify poisonous plants. Your players better hope they ate something before they left. Now, I recommend making them jump over a purple river that causes poison damage. Not too hard, maybe they'll just cut down a tree to use as a bridge, or more likely fly over. From there, have them roll perception or investigation in hopes they pick up on tracks or other signs of life. Failure gets them fights with piranha plants, success gets them ancient ruins, a seemingly desolate place. But players with tracking might recognize fresh tracks, and players with ultra hearing will hear noises coming from within. If your player characters are particularly dense, you might post Magic Koopas outside guarding the entrance. Once inside the ruins, you have dim light from pulsating crystals on the walls. It's a DC 10 awareness check to avoid floors that break away to reveal a spike trap that does damage 5. Same awareness DC not to step on a root. Doing so makes 2 Koopas per player and 1 Magic Koopa come running to their location. See, these roots belong to her. At the bottom of the ruins is the Magic Koopa's workshop, where we meet the Queen Piranha Plant. Her general thing is going to be spitting at the players, not just out of disrespect, but in an attempt to poison them again. If the players hoped they could be done with poison after the main valley itself, sucks to be them. I'll leave the character sheet in the description below, like the others. Now, you've probably recognized an obvious flaw. Bob-omb Factory and Ancient Ruins are both technically skippable. The players could theoretically just walk past them on their way to Bowser's Castle. We need a way to enforce them as being necessary, so let's run some hypotheticals. If they skip Bob-omb Factory and do Ancient Ruins properly, do describe the Bob-omb Horde waiting for them in the valley when they come out. Maybe then they'll backtrack and put a stop to one threat before handling the main one. If they do Bob-omb Factory but skip Ancient Ruins, ChatGPT suggested Bowser gets to wield some magic artifact he wouldn't have otherwise. I personally think that's bogus. The players are probably going to move faster than the Magic Koopas can send stuff, but I'm not coming up with any better ideas right now. Skipping both of these should put your players in a nightmare scenario. Perhaps if the players somehow defeat Bowser without the prior experience of the first two, and I say that because, like I said, I'm expecting noobs, then maybe we can finagle a team-up between King Bob-omb and Queen Piranha Plant. No matter what though, we're in the Darklands now. Muhaha! Have players roll will against the intimidation of the environment itself. Failure means coming back another day, but success means attempting to sneak through this nightmare and or fighting Koopas and Hammer Bros. Be sure to add dry bones too. Those should be fun since they get immortality, that is, reassembling themselves, though someone with a snare effect might prevent them from reassembling. Whatever they go through, they have the joy of knowing there's rivers of lava to warm up by or get pushed into. Up to you if that's insta-death. Let's get to the point of all this though. Bowser's Castle. Give armor to your Koopas and power-ups to your Magic Koopas, because we're in the final phase. Standard procedure, the gates open up for them and they're welcome to look around. Inside the main hall, they fight Koopas, dodge thwomps, etc. And going downstairs will let them visit the dungeon. If they do visit the dungeon and actually stay a while, they have the option of freeing some imprisoned toads perhaps, earning them a hero point, making them go through that extra effort, in addition to finding a place to rest. Up to you if the dungeon is guarded by another handful of enemies or a bonus boss. Going upstairs instead brings the players with swinging axes, requiring a dodge check to avoid. Flame jets on the walls requiring a perception check to avoid, and at the end of the hall, players should be met with a platoon of Magic Koopas, 2 per player. They have the hope of knowing Bowser's just on the other side of the fancy door they're guarding. We're almost done. And finally, Bowser. I've already made a Bowser character sheet, and I plan on making more in the future for different versions of Bowser's, so I will leave the matter here for now. What do you get for defeating Bowser? A saved Mushroom Kingdom, maybe a kiss from a princess? If your players are villains who simply sought to get another villain out of the way, then plus 10 on the persuasion check to get Peach to submit to you. You just saved her hide. This could also lead to other adventures. Did the players leave Bowser beat up in his throne room? Then of course he'll want revenge. Did they take him prisoner? Various underlings will break him out eventually. Or perhaps this is your chance to lead up to the subspace emissary itself. Now, if you want more details on minions, feel free to request various minions in the comments below. Until then, I would like to leave you with the AI art I generated while coming up with this script.